You are watching Alasmat the Shadow Band.
You stole my heart, you intercepted it. Now you're gone, have to accept it. Did I meet your mom too soon? Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story. We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right then. You put the end in tight end, and as I touched down, just like you in a game, I'm in another town, and nothing feels the same. Wish I could go back when we met that day. Oh, whoa, and throw a flag on the play.
Somebody in the chat saying, "Oh, we could have finished watching Caltiki." Well, my question to you is, why didn't you watch it in the first place? Why didn't you watch it in the first place? That's the big problem. We have a problem right there. A major catastrophe, no, crisis. There's a crisis in our community because you got people like Ozaker who clearly didn't see the movie, clearly did not see the movie, and he's trying to put that high horse. Oh, I'm so much better than this filthy colored over here. I could have seen the movie by the time he played all his fake intros. Oh, fine, watch the movie. Like you should have done that already, because then we'd have had a better conversation inside stream. But you didn't want to do that. You chose not to. You want to be rebellious. Because God forbid the salt of the earth here deepens your vanilla blandness. God forbid. I'm onto white supremacy. I'm onto it. Stop it tonight. We're gonna be unified, a community of love and tolerance. Not your whatever you call that in the chat with your oh I could have seen the movie already. You should have been seeing the movie. Don't wait on. I'm not here to hold your hand. Don't wait on me. You should have been like, you know, he's gonna review Caltiki on Monday, so I'm gonna watch it before them. That way I come in prepared. Have you people not been to school? Have you not been to school where they tell you, okay, we're gonna have a test on Friday, so prepare to study for the test on Friday. And I know none of y'all study, but still, the shoot, allergies. Sorry, allergies again. Wait, go for the trifecta. Wait for it. Wait for it. No? Okay, good. That's rare. That's rare when I sneeze twice and I don't do it a third time. That's rare. I guarantee you, those of you knew that we're going to have tests on Friday. Y'all didn't study, but you knew it was happening. You can't say you didn't know because you knew. Fail the test like a grown man and stop complaining about crap. I'm tired of it. But yes, I agree. Caltiki has some really good effects. And we're going to talk more about it. Actually, before I talk about Caltiki, Um, so I had the Comic Con. I was at Lehigh Valley Comic Con this past weekend. It was a great time too. I made some money during the weekend, so I was pretty happy. I didn't think I would, but I did. I think the combination of my books and the separate art, especially the art I've been doing for these streams, has been a good uh, bump for doing these cons. So that's been a pretty amazing experience. But something happened over the weekend. I'm gonna show you guys. If y'all remember, hold on one second. Okay, here we go. Okay, you remember that drawing of the green slime, right? Remember we talked about the green slime a few months ago, and we talked about one of the writers being Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman and the guy who created the entire Batman universe, including Gotham City, all the rogue villains and characters surrounding Batman. Well, funny thing happened on Saturday. So I have my table set up, and I'm greeting all the people passing by, whatever. And this lady comes up, and she goes, "That's green slime." And I was like, "Yeah, you like the movie?" And then she reveals this to me. She says, "My grandfather." Oh no, okay. She was like, "You know who wrote this, right?" And I'm like, at the time I forgot because of what was happening, so I kind of slipped my mind. And she goes, "It's Bill Finger, my grandfather." And I'm like, "You know Bill Finger's granddaughter?" So I met Athena Finger at the con. She had a table there, and I actually got her to buy the drawing. So there she is, right there. Let me enlarge this a bit here. So yeah, that is Athena Finger, the granddaughter of Bill Finger, her holding the drawing of the Green Slime, the movie that her grandfather co-wrote, and the drawing that she ultimately bought. It's not made up KSS. That really happened, Chazzy. It really happened. Shut your mouth, Kisvis. So tired of your filth. Tired of what you say. Tired of what you do. Undermining my glory and my victory. I'm so tired of Chazzy. Tired of it. It really happened, though. Yeah, I made money. I made money to a Kizzy. Okay, I know it makes you pissed off. I don't anger you people that I succeed. But I succeeded. But yeah, that is my picture of Athena Finger, the granddaughter of Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman and the universe of Gotham City, holding the picture of the green slime based on the movie her grandfather co-wrote. And she ultimately bought the picture. So my drawing is now in the hands of the granddaughter of the man who wrote the movie. How cool is that? That is something money cannot buy.
I hope you signed it.
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I signed a little bit drawing. So yeah, it is signed by me. And yeah, so um, so this is awesome. So this is a great, nice little bookend to the Green Slime Saga of myself reviewing it and drawing it. Um, so that was pretty, it's pretty good. Like that alone was worth the experience this weekend. Aside from making the money that I made, it was worth the experience just being there and having that. And it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, I'm very happy about that. I'm very pleased with um all that. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah. Um, yes, I see what you're writing in the chat. Punch. I see what you're writing in the chat. Okay, I see it. Stop mocking me. How do people mocking me? I'm allowed. You guys are not. You guys don't deserve the goodness I've given you. None of it. Okay, it says. Actually, I should put this up. Actually, I'm gonna go back to my thing. No, I'm gonna put it up here for a second. He says Bill Finger is actually way more important to Batman than Kane is. Yeah, yeah, 100%. The more you read about the story, the more you realize, wow, Bob Kane really was. He really was not a good person. You know, um, he was not the it's that is the nature of the comic industry. It's writers create these characters who create the universes, but don't get the proper respect and the proper credit. So yeah, but yeah, it was an awesome moment. So I really appreciated having that, and I can share that, and that's awesome. So I am like, yes, that is my memory that I get to keep now because I was there. So shout out to Athena Finger. Thanks for that moment, that memory, that story that I can tell now. And you in the chat have now partaken in that story. You have now embraced that story, and you share it with me. So that is pretty awesome. Um, so for tonight's movie, Caltiki, the Immortal Monster, it is a Italian horror sci-fi film made in Italy with cinematography by Mario Bava, the guy who gave us Black Sunday, among other movies. Very storied. Planet of the Vampires was another one of his movies as well. He didn't direct this. He was the director of cinematography, though, for this movie. I am not snubbing Mean Howell's birthday. He's been mean to me the last week. He's been vicious to me. That man has denounced my creation for a week now. So nice to him because he was mean to me first. And I really appreciate the chat not engaging in the conversation about Caltiki, the Immortal Monster. Let's talk about Caltiki, the Immortal Monster, which is a great Italian horror film or sci-fi film about a blob creature. By the way, here's a little trivia: the effects of the blob creature in Caltiki was created with cow entrails. So they actually used cow entrails, and they had a man doing puppeteering with that with the creature. That was pretty neat. That's why I was like so intrigued by how that thing looked. I was like, it's got texture, it's got a form, and you find out, oh, it's made with cow parts. No wonder. So, Richie Dupe, I see you. I see you in the chat. I am not Rican, but I am sexy. So I'll take it, Richie. I'll take it. Good seeing you in the chat. Actually, I didn't say hi to the chat. I see Linkovich is in the chat saying fuck this internet, guys. I'm trying to mess with the bit rate. So like I did a speed test on my computer, and I set my bit rate according to that. So hopefully it stays thoroughly throughout the stream. We'll see. But I mean, Lord Woodrow, what's up, meme? Good seeing you there. Plunge Comics, Timothy, aka Tim Olson, who didn't watch Predator, so he's a jerk for that. I think I saw, who else did I see in the chat earlier? I think I saw her. Oh, Monomachus in the chat. What's going on, Monomachus? How are you? Of course, Sisyphus has to monopolize everything because God forbid the rest of the community shines. Okay. Yeah. I'm not a blob creature, Oscar. I have form. Okay, I got muscles. You have nothing. You're a name on the chat, and I don't fear you. You don't control me. I'm an influencer. Remember your spot. But yeah, the 15 movie. Actually, I have I made myself a disc featuring Caltiki, the Immortal Monster, the Monolith Monsters, and Angry Red Planet. And I'm gonna watch the other two movies at some point. Probably watch Monolith Monsters next week. I'm not sure yet, but I've been intrigued about that. But the first time I heard of Caltiki was back in 1994 when I bought this book called Giant Monster Movies. And this book is notorious from 1994. The author is Robert Morero. The book is notorious because of a lot of the misinformation in the book. And unfortunately, there's a lot of it. but it was also my introduction to a lot of giant monster movies I had not heard of up to this point. And one of those movies was Caltiki, the Immortal, and it had this picture of one of the leads. Although this scene's not exactly in the movie as it is, but actually, no, no, it is. No, no, this is early in the first act when they first encounter the monster in the Mayans, in the Mayan temple. Um, this is a still photo from it. And it's funny that it has also a picture of the monolith monsters, which I just talked about. So I may do that for the next stream. I'm not sure yet. That's an intriguing movie, but we'll talk about that when it's time for that. So uh, I'm not messing with your patience, Kissy. You're messing with mine. You're my channel, my stream, my roads. Kissy, know your place. It can be nice to you, but know your place. So, yelling at your people's got me very sick. I don't like that. Oh, you know I don't like this because I'm being nice to you. Talk about a cool monster movie in Caltiki. Not, it has some problems. It has some problems with, for example, the characters, meh, meh, meh. So, um, intriguing in some ways, but I wouldn't say they were very relatable. But minor gripe, and it does drag in some spots. But when it gets to the monster parts, it is pretty kino. I will say that the cinematography is pretty good. The black and white really serves the purpose of the movie too. It really helps. I think in the 1950s with black and white, it just makes the stories in a horror movie or a science fiction movie in the 1950s, black and white, very disturbing. It has a very disturbing feel to it, and I think it's to its credit. But what's the movie about? Well, some scientists go uh down to South America with the old Mayans and looking for some treasure, and they stumble upon this blob creature, which is related to their Mayan god Caltiki, who they claim is the goddess Caltiki. And it's funny because when the creature's introduced, not that the death was gory, but it was shockingly gory for its time. It absorbs the victims and then it just drains their skin, and you see like this like skeletal mushy muck of a dead person, which I think was kind of cool. I like that look to it. I even showed a still of it during the image slideshow of the Little Richard song, the intro stream, the intro right before we started the stream. So, uh, kind of like that. There was a couple of deaths like that, and it was I enjoyed when the monster's on screen, and the cinematography alone just helps really bring the monster to life, and it makes it very unsettling. Very unsettling. Uh, but there were some shots that were kind of confusing. Like there was towards the third act when the lead one of the scientists is driving and you couldn't tell what was going on. He gets hit by the car and he drives off the cliff, and I was like, it's kind of confusing to watch. So there were some shots that were like, nah, you know, looking for Latina booty says Oscar. Can't go wrong with Latina booty, absolutely. But yeah, they were probably one of the characters probably was because one of the characters was married to his Spanish wife or whatever. I think she was Spanish, but he was being a jerk to her too. He was being a bit major asshole, but that was establishing him being the one of the villains in the movie. Uh, they're more believable than a 30-year-old Steve McQueen playing an 18-year-old while looking 48. Um, maybe not because you know what? I'll say this: there was an attempt to make the character somewhat intriguing, especially the villain. Because he has his arm chewed off. The skin gets chewed off by one of the Caltikis in the Mayan temple, and there's a scene where they're peeling off the small remnant of the Caltiki off the guy's arm, and you can see a remnant of his bone, as if the Caltiki had already eaten the skin away. It was pretty effective how they did it. It peels it off, and you hear the sound of the icky sound of it being peeled off, and you see the darkened skeletal remains of the guy's arm. Pretty effective. It was actually again the black and white really helps sell the unsettling nature of the whole thing. 29% on Rotten Tomatoes for Caltiki. Yeah, I don't. That's a very low score for this movie. It's not that. It doesn't deserve that low score. I wouldn't put it higher than 65%, but 29 is way too low. That's an example of critics just sniffing up their own farts. That's really it. That's not a. That's not a. I disavow that score. I totally disavow that score. There's a lot of films during that time that probably would have gotten a 29%. Not this movie. I disavow that score completely. And yeah, it was graphic for its time, although not the most graphic of its time, but yeah, it was surprisingly graphic. I mean, same by today's standards, but seeing the guys decompose into this mushy skeletal thing, and that scene with the arm, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of gory, you know. Eh, but it was enjoyable though. I like seeing things like that, especially in a black and white sci-fi movie though. No KSS. He was not a jerk like me. I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice person. Okay, I'm a loving person. Just arm shot looks cool, says Oscar. I like that shot. Yeah, that's one of the shots I really did like. That and the shot and one of the more effective shots is like towards the end when the Caltiki's about to like really go full force and it starts growing and it starts splitting up like a like cell division and you see the blob just like as it's growing it's splitting up and you look in the middle of it and it's very unsettling. You're looking at the middle and the thing just starts splitting open and then you hear all the sound effects of the sliminess being broken apart, and it's just very very unsettling in a good way. Even I doubt critics are fans of any monster movies. That's when it comes to horror films of this nature. I don't pay attention to what the critics say. They don't know jack shit about movies like this. They're very pompous, very up their asses when it comes to these kind of movies. I especially hate when they review Godzilla films. Like, oh, man in a cheap rubber suit destroying cardboard buildings. I'm like, hey asshole, you should watch a Ray Harryhausen film. It's almost the same thing, except as opposed to stop motion, it's summation, but the miniatures are meticulously made. It's very pompous. It's very like, um, yeah, you guys are not serious film critics. You're clowns, and I disavow you as clowns. Can't stand film critics like that. I really can't. It's like, fuck off. you know. Yeah, they're bootleggers with agendas. I agree, 100%. I don't trust any of these film critics, especially today's film critics. I don't trust them. Not a single one. After The Last Jedi, I don't trust a single film critic. Even if they're telling the truth, I don't trust them because they're selling us bullshit. So when they say a movie like Caltiki is a 29%, I'm like, nah, that's way too low for this kind of movie. Way too low. You got to appreciate a film for what it is at the time it was made, and to stop putting a level of expectation on a film in a particular genre that you put on another kind of film in a different genre. Judge each film accordingly and according to what it's supposed to deliver. Rotten Tomatoes gives a stream 95% fresh. What do they know? Fuck your kisses. That's what you know. Have I ever done the thing for this, Skeeford? You mean Howard Hawks is the thing? I have not. I probably should because I wanted to do the Monolith Monsters and Angry Red Planet. But I should add Howard Hawks' The Thing to this too, because The Thing is actually, when we're talking about the original, not the original, but the Howard Hawks version from 1950, I think it's 1951. Surprisingly well made movie. Not like the John Carpenter version. It's a different type of alien. Still effective though. Still very unsettling. Set in the Antarctic. We'll talk about that when it's time to do that movie. But yeah, Caltiki. As far as like Blob movies are concerned, this is a better film than Steve McQueen's Blob. And I would say almost as good as the remake, the Blob remake from 1988. That one is probably still the keynote in terms of Blob films. But Caltiki is right there. Human characters are not as intriguing, but the cinematography just sells it. The special effects just sells it. The black and white film stock sells it. There's a lot of good in this movie that you could say is worth taking an hour and a half. It's a short movie. It's an hour and a half, like an hour, not even an hour and a half, like an hour and 15 minutes, like an hour and 20 minutes about. It's really short, so it is a good time killer. Uh, KSS says the critics have a history of hating horror movies, especially ones that don't push the message. Yes, I quoted critical drinker to piss Richard off. Yeah, fuck Richard C. Meyer, by the way. That guy's a clown. So, no one should take Richard C. Meyer seriously ever, ever. He has completely given up um his what do you call it? I don't know what to call it, but he's given up some kind of card and he's just no longer respectable, so screw him. Um and no last I can't hook you. I don't know what that means. Hard did the thing from another world. Yeah, that's the one we're talking about. That's the one that Gifford I think is referring to. Okay, not being technical. Okay, see, you know what I was talking about. The thing, they're both called the thing, but okay, Hard Rocks has puts the thing from another world is added on it in later copies, but it was called the thing. Is an ugly bald creature who accuses people of no Timothy. We're talking about Caltiki. You know about the alien from the thing. Either way, you're wrong, Timothy, and I'm banning you for that. No, actually, you're in the ban zone, so I can't ban you. So yeah. Holy Jesus! Look at the mug on that guy. Oh wait, jalapeno. Wait. Okay, so now you're Cyber Manticore. Oh guys, I'm sorry, Cyber Manticore. He changed his name because he thinks he's some kind of like authority in dishing out whatever. No, you're still Woman Decor. Okay, you're still Woman Decor. As far as I'm concerned. I'm trying to talk about the film, you're derailing it. See, people in the chat are just talking about horror movies. Oh, what? Woman Decor came in to derail it. What was this dude Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the '80s one? Do you mean the '70s one with Donald Sutherland? That was 1978, Gifford. I think that's what you're talking about. 1978, not the '80s. That was a surprisingly good movie, but I think I'm more preferential to the '50s version. Both solid movies, though. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He's an entity from the back. Uh, uh, yeah, it says, I like the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers and the '78 remake. And the Penthouse version Invasion of. Oh, come on, Kissy. Come on, Kissy. Stop. We're talking about horror movies, not whatever that thing you wanted me to read. I ain't reading it. I ain't reading it. Crystal. So Caltiki might have to watch it after the show. Yeah, you absolutely should watch it. It's a solid movie. It's not perfect, but it's solid. 1 hour and 20 minutes every time. It's not gonna uh take too much of your time. Let me see. Plunge Comics says, "Oh, great! So I am not the only one who thinks that about Zach. No, I think a lot of people do. I think Zach has pretty much given up having any real credibility in this space. He has virtually no credibility. He has some fans, but not enough for him to maintain an actual comic book company, whatever he's calling it these days. But yeah, he's pissed off a lot of people, so he's not credible anymore. So." Giefer says, I know, shut up. I corrected you, Giefer. You know what? You don't correct me, and I gotta take it, but I correct you one time, and you get mad. No, you get corrected, Giefer. Accept it and like it. It feels good to be right. It really does. Of course, you like the old version of Giefer. Snob. You're a monster movie snob. No, I just like monster movies, okay? Speaking of which, slight derail, but it is monster related. I gotta show you a couple purchases. Um, one by Lady Shadowban. Hold on. I gotta I gotta fix this area up a bit. So I had it fixed before, and now it's not fixed. So I gotta fix it again. But first is she got me this Creep Show book. This is about the Creep Show. Well, it's about the history of Creep Show, but it's mainly referring to the show from Shutter. But it's got some good information. Great artwork, and there's one page in particular that stood out to me involving werewolves. Where was it? See, it's got some decent. It's got the old horror movie ad, not the horror movie, but the ads that would appear in the comics, which is pretty cool, and a lot of good art too. This is pretty solid. I like this. That's pretty solid there. Uh, I gotta say, oh, this is pretty good too. I like the ink on this one, the black and white. This one, pretty solid. Very solid black and whites. I gotta go and look at this. Sit down one day and just try to just go over it. And where is it? There was a page in here that showed werewolf. Yeah, the wolf. I think I found it. I, oh, before I do that. Oh, here's a nice Nosferatu photo. I think that's from the show too. That's gonna be interesting to find. I gotta look this up. I gotta look this up. Here's a good special effect. This is how they do the green screen of practical effects. A headless creature, headless person, right? This is all practical and green screen. This is awesome. I like practical effects with gore. We need more of that. Do you want to find it maybe? Okay. Let me just quickly show this. This is the ad, one of the ads. Pretty old school 1950s ad. I love this. So
read the chat.
okay. So that cover looks yeah, that cover looks pretty dope too. It does look good. Just find that page for me. I think yeah. So Amanda, of course, says that one is too good for you. Shot the lady Shadow Band. Yeah, she's awesome. KS says the critical trigger like Motu. Now what, Richard? Oh, you got to hyperfixate on Tom Connor because he's the one that fits your new bogus narrative. Yeah, the Master Universe movie has split a lot of people up, but overall the consensus has been positive. I haven't seen it yet. I will go see it. I haven't. I don't know when, but I'm gonna go see it eventually. Oh yeah, there's a yeah, guys. I also got this from not Barnes Noble. I got this from a bookstore in near my town. It's called the 300 Avery films to scare you to death. I looked over it and it's pretty interesting reading. It looks like so. I, I like I like books that reference horror movies and talks about them and pretty cool pictures too. So yeah, so I got a couple of cool books. Offset some of the weirder books I got, like the one I just told you earlier in the stream that which is my introduction to Caltiki, and I'll go ahead and fix this later. But practical effects is boss with violence and graphic gore. The CGI gore will never be good. So, Giefer says, Creep Show, are you the featured as the headliner? I'm trying to think of your jokes, Giefer. Yeah. You like my good friend Massive Panda. How you do, Massive Panda? It's good seeing you. You're a good person, Massive Panda. You offset the jerk and the racist in my chat. So I'm glad that you're here. Oh wait, shut up. Wait, KSS tell me why are you telling me to shut up, KSS? Why are you telling me to shut up? I did nothing to you. My good friend Jason Bascom is here. Great! Wait, grade him? Grade him? What do you mean great? What does that mean? Grade him, Kissy. What does that mean? Grade him. What does that? I don't know what that means. They crack him in my Stone Temple Pilots for him. It's very long. It's weird, and I might get struck from YouTube. So go. I'll do it for you because I can get struck. Because it's not like anybody. It doesn't risk getting struck off YouTube. So why not? Really, right? Well, Richie Dube is leaving. How you doing, Richie? Good seeing you. Shout out to Richie Dube. He's leaving us. So have a good night, Richie. Good seeing you here. Um, let's see here. Okay, hold that book there for the rest of the stream, would you?
Uh-huh.
And of course, Manticore follows up with a laughing emoji because he's one of those that laugh at his own jokes.
Leave him alone. Him and Carol are on my team.
He made fun of me.
I don't care.
I care. I
Team.
care. Beloved.
None of you.
I am beloved. I'm needed here. I'm reverent here. I'm beloved.
They even roasted you on your birthday.
Wait, The Rothschilds from 1940 is a scary movie. Is it really?
No.
I have to look into that. That's Rothschilds. Yeah, we know. Um, you should get your Melvin number one since Timothy. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so I found 3 so far.
Okay. Potato Cam engages Manticoria. It's funny. I'm looking at it on my end here. It seems everything seems fine on my end. I don't know what you guys are looking at, but I'm looking at it on the YouTube side.
My phone, and unless it's happening like when I'm not looking at my phone,
Right.
I haven't noticed anything in a bit.
Right. So
I did tell the chat though that I've been having a lot of issues with T-Mobile lately with
yeah,
my phone, and we have T-Mobile internet.
yeah.
I don't know if something's going on or what.
Right. I think it might be T-Mobile. Who knows? But yeah. There's not much I mean really more can say about Caltiki. It's just go check it out. I recommend it. Like I said, I wouldn't give it a lower score than 65%. 29 is way too low, and it's a bullshit score by Rotten Tomatoes. But you know, uh, Unhinged is. I'm not here to say bye, everyone. Let me eat in peace. Oh wait, I'm not here. I said hi, bye, everyone. Let me eat in peace. Unhinged, you know how this works. See, I'm here. Unhinged. I give people community shout bucks. So you being here has given you some bucks. So I do the. Oh wait, what's up? Oh, okay.
Alright, so this one's from Fake Pictures Anonymous, and then there was this one, and then there's
This
this
is what.
one.
Okay, this is what I was looking for. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. So this is apparently from Creep Show. It reminded me of The Howling, but I gotta look this up. But it was pretty unique because if you guys know me, you know that The Howling's my favorite werewolf film. So I gotta look this up. But this is apparently from Creek Show. Does it say which episode? Let me see. I have to. Let me look at the glass. Let me get my glasses. Okay, my manly glasses. So here we go. Okay, let's see here. Okay, previous spread. The right. Okay, Bad Wolf Down is the name of this episode. Bad Wolf. I gotta look this up. Let's see. Howling good homages to world features we've known and loved. Can you guess them? Okay, yes. With Jeffrey Combs attacked by. Okay, so Jeffrey Combs playing I guess a Nazi soldier being attacked by a wolf. Yeah, I gotta look this up. This is called Bad Wolf Down. I gotta look this up because if it's anything like a good, decent werewolf movie, then yeah, I need to have this in my collection. So that will be. I'll be searching for that. Maybe you can do a stream on that. Also, because that is a werewolf. Yes, that's because it's a werewolf. That's why I look like a werewolf because that is a werewolf. I mean, good night. So, Bunch Comics has a monster themed comic. There's a link to his Kickstarter. Go ahead and back it if you haven't already. Why do I see orange? Because it's shot. I guess that scene is like shot in red or something. I don't know. I haven't seen the episodes. I gotta look it up. Leave Jason while he eats far. He came into the chat and announced it to the world. When you announce shit to the world, it is content. It is stream fuel. Don't act like he's followed. He came into my chat and announced it. I'm eating. Hi. Bye. Like, good night. This is what happens when you come into the chat and announce your intentions. I'm going to comment on it. That's just how it works. Okay? If you people don't get it, I will find whatever term of service you're violating and I will strike you off YouTube. Don't test me. I'm just reading the chat. When I hail to the chat, I read the chat. That's what I do. If you type in the chat that you're eating, I'm going to say you're eating. How am I wrong? How am I wrong? I don't understand. See, Tim says he's taking pictures of what? I don't know, but I read it. So are you guys going to crucify me because I said that Tim is taking pictures? He said it in the chat. And I read it. And I'm supposed to read the chat, not ignore the chat like some people do in this space. Oh no! God forbid a lad man engage with the chat. God forbid he reads what's in the chat and ignores, not ignores, but acknowledges the chat. Oh, he's a bad man. He's an evil man. He is toxic for the conversation on chat. Ooh, ooh, you guys are pathetic. All of yous. Like for real? Really? I already reported you, Zucker. I already reported you. So it's coming. It's coming. Trust and believe it's coming. Don't act like I have not considered it. I've absolutely considered it. And it's coming, and you ain't gonna like it. But it's fine though. You know why, Zucker? I'm gonna tell you why. You know why it's okay? Because I got pay you. I got pay you, Zucker. You've been got paid. And my got pay ain't cheap. It ain't cheap at all. Stop addressing making me wait. Resooned. Wait, stop addressing making me resooned. My food is getting cold. Resooned? Is that a new word? First kiss he says grade him, and now you're saying resoon. What's going on with the chat? Why is your English mess it up? I don't understand. Like you come to my chat and you're thinking that because I don't speak proper English, you're gonna try to mock my English by not speaking English because I ain't no white boy. Is that why? Because I'm white. Is that why? Is this what this is going to amount to? Mocking me for reals? Like I ain't trying to hear that. You can mock my English? Fine, be that way. I don't care because I'm salt and I bring the flavor to the vanilla space here. I'm needed here. I'm going to Retro X, says Tom. I don't know what that means. Retro X. Good for you, Retro X. What is that? Some porn store club or something? I don't know. Well, good luck to you, Timothy. Make sure that the leather you're wearing ain't too tight because people that ain't probably friendly. And they'll see that and they'll say, I'm not going to say anymore because I ain't speaking that evil to the internet, but it's fine. Can Hinge sue for cold chicken, says Timothy. How do you know he's eating chicken? Did he say that in the chat he was eating chicken, Timothy? Because if not, you doxed his dinner. You doxed his dinner, Timothy. So that's on you. Anyway, KSS, last night, did you ever watch the show Taxi? If so, was it just keeps or did the opening music depress you too? You know something? It did depress me. And the shot of them driving under the Queensboro Bridge and the soft song, and I'm like, wow, New York is very dreary. This is a very dreary opening. I never could get into Taxi because it just felt like a um I don't know. It was just dreary. That show was not as dreary as MASH. MASH to me was peak dreary in terms of TV sitcoms. I don't know about you guys, but whenever MASH came on, I was like, this is a TV show. And I feel depressed. And nothing is fun. Wow. That's how I felt when I watched MASH. And then that's if I got to the first 10 minutes of MASH and then just tuned it off. People liked it. It was a iconic TV show. I never got into it. I just could not get into MASH. It was not my thing. A sitcom set in the Korean War and it's got these medics and shit happens and people actually get killed in the show. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's entertaining. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad show. People like it. They consider it one of the best TV shows of all time. I just never got into it. And then Taxi being not as dreary, but it had its own level of dreariness that I'm like, oh. But it had Dan DeVito and Tony Danza, and I guess it was probably more lighthearted than MASH. And then Barney Miller with its own brand of dreariness. So so yeah, I just gave you my trifecta of dreary sitcoms. Punch Comics says when you say agape, it sounds like a threat. It's not a threat. It's a warning of love. Hey, hey, receive my love, Plunge. Stop being a jerk to things. Anyway, let me just check the chat quickly here. Because you guys are spamming with towers of something or other. I don't know. Newhart, also depressing music, says KSS. I watched one episode of Newhart and I was like, I gotta reassess my life. When I started watching Newhart, that's when I knew that I needed to reassess my TV viewing habits because that's when I knew I'm only watching TV just for the sake of watching TV. Because I was never a fan of Newhart, but here I am forcing myself to watch Newhart after Designing Women. Yes, there was a period in my life, I think it was one season, where I was watching Designing Women, and I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, I know I don't want to shut the TV off, but why am I watching this? Why am I watching Designing Women and Newhart? What is wrong with me? That's where I was at. That was back in 1989. This was after the summer of Batman, and I just ended up watching CBS's sitcom lineup of Newhart and Designing Women, and I'm like, what the heck? This should not be my life, but it was my life. So yeah, that's where I was at with that. So yeah, how did we get this? I don't know. Kenneth just makes an unfortunate comment, and here we are. So Mash's Goy Slop is also good. Hey, it could be. I don't know. I never got into it. So Singer was a crossdresser, not actually gay. Nowadays, we try and call him trans. Yeah, take a joke and try to put the message on it. That's how it always goes, right? Um, just skipping over a few chats here. Appreciate the speed in which y'all are typing. Oh, Manticore is leaving us. Good, good. I have one less speaker shark in the chat. So good, Manticore. Good. Now we can have a peaceful, loving conversation. So that's good. So yeah. Master Steve Thumb is liked. No, it's titled Suicide is Painless. Of course, it's depressing. Yeah, totally depressing. No, I'm not. Well, okay, Oscar says I'm a Golden Girls fan. Actually, I did enjoy Golden Girls. It actually was pretty. That's actually a more enjoyable show than most of CBS's sitcom lineup. Yeah, I said it. I've been posted and ruined my life. I'm 90 years old. No, I'm 48, Gifford. I'm 48. I'm young. You talk like you were 40 when these shows came out. That's how depressing it was, Gee. That's how depressing it was. I was 11 years old watching these shows. Yeah, that was me trying to hang on tight to not turning off the button on the TV. I was that desperate to watch TV that I ended up watching the CBS sitcom lineup of Newhart, Murphy Brown. That's what it's too. Murphy Brown, Designing Woman, and Newhart. That was my sitcom lineup of CBS on a Monday. Murphy Brown. Yes, I was watching Murphy Brown. Guilty as charged. I did. That's how depressed I was watching TV. It was a thing. Yes, totally a thing. Um, My favorite show is Will and Grace. You know what? You can go, Oscar. Go stuff it. Go stuff it. Golden Girls has some good jokes. Golden Girls was a legit funny show. That was a funny show, especially with the banter between what's her face, Estelle Getty's character. I forgot her name. What's her name? Grandma something or other. I don't know. Her and her daughter B. Arthur, Dorothy. That was some funny shit. When they bantered, that was actually hilarious. I have to give them that. Golden Girls was a legit funny show. Newhart not so much, and neither was any of the CBS sitcoms at the time. So yeah. Um, Alas, remember Fred Sanford's friend Grady? He was only 42. When you go back in time and see the characters in the sitcoms and see how old they actually were, you're like, what the hell? What are we eating now that's making us look so different from our tears? By the way, guys, I can hear you in the chat, just so you know. Yeah. I didn't identify with Golden Girls comedy. I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it. On Hinges, I'm leaving. Nut boy. Don't tell me. Look, if you're gonna nut, don't announce it on here. Just go and do your thing quietly. No one's got to know about the other stuff. Just don't tell us about nutting. We don't need to hear that. Just please protect yourself. So I hated Murphy Brown. I only watched it for Northern Exposure. Says Kansas. How do you watch a sitcom for a show that premiered an hour later? So guys, they can hear you by the way in the chat. Yeah. Why do you watch Murphy Brown? Just to watch Northern Exposure. That was like a 1 hour, 2 hour. I give up. I don't know. Anyway, DMX was a big Golden Girls fan. I don't know why I know that. DMX like Golden Girls. Wings is still good this comedy. Wings is to okay. How can I put this? How can I put this? Wings is a poor man's Cheers. I said it. Wings is a poor man's Cheers. Take it and lump it, comedy. Wings and the poor man's Cheers. So I guess we could find a way to link this to the monster movies by saying how um our our time in the late 80s watching these sitcoms was pretty much like being in a void, because we were so desperate to watch something on TV. We were so desperate to have something that could entertain us as kids, and we was like, okay, I guess we'll watch a sitcom, and maybe they're entertaining. It's better than going to bed early. So, Blasey one asked, did you also belong to a knitting circle? I can just not talk. I can just not say words. I can just be silent. As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna be silent right now. Done. I want to read your comment, Master Panda, but this chat doesn't appreciate what I gotta say. So I'm gonna stay silent so y'all can hear Lady Shadowban in the background talking. Are you guys done now? Are you done? Maybe you'll appreciate what I offer to the stream, into the space, rather than just throw spears at me, chucking your spears at me. Massive Pandas. I was very young in the early 90s when my grandfather was watching MASH reruns. But even then, I could pick up on the juxtaposition of comedy and depression. It has a very, very distinct tone. Yeah, it does. I just never got into it. Cheers and Frasier weren't funny. They were depressing as fuck. No, okay, Mood of Hell? That's fighting words. Cheers was hilarious. I haven't seen Frasier. I've seen a couple episodes of Frasier I thought was pretty funny, but not as funny as Cheers. But no, Cheers was funny. Cheers actually was legit funny. There's a great scene in one of the episodes when Sam Malone and Rebecca were having a competition about something, and I think Sam concedes. No, is that it? Yeah, Sam concedes the competition, so he offers to boil a plate of chili for Rebecca and the gang, and the chili explodes in his face. So they go into the back to see what happened, and he's got his face all covered up in chili, and he looks at them all shocked and traumatized, and he says, "Did you ever have a bowl of chili ever explode on you?" And they're like, "No," and he goes, "No." Every time I see that, I burst out laughing. That's that is legit one of the funniest scenes in any sitcom I've ever saw. I burst out laughing every time I see that scene because it's just hilarious. So I think Cheers, Three's Company, Marriage, Children are probably the only, oh, and Honeymooners are the only four sitcoms I can think of that still make me laugh to this day. That still make me laugh to this day. Um, so what'd you say? Yes, all the good shows. Yes, right. Yeah. Um, Cheers is about alcoholics in a rundown bar. No, only one of them was a legit alcoholic, but he was a controlled alcoholic. The rest of them just go there for beer and hang out and chill. Like there's no incidences, there's no bar fights, there's no DUIs. They're just having fun, being friendly to each other, and just doing stuff that Cheers people do. That's what they do. Everyone else Cthulhu says it's eerie when Alaska stops speaking and it's total silence. Well, everyone else Cthulhu, that's what they asked for. That's what this spirit checking chat wants because they don't appreciate my thoughts and the things I gotta say. So I just say sound like this. I want the chat, the mods, the chat to ban Tommy for 24 hours for saying that Cheers is not as funny as Wings. It is funnier than Wings. Funnier. Samuel is a recovering alcoholic on Cheers. Yeah, his character doesn't drink in the show because of that. But it's a nice little touch to the characters, to his character, which I appreciate. Lady shut up and asked if I'm joining tonight. No, because Caltiki. So Caltiki is an interesting monster, but because it's pretty much a massive blob, or in actuality, how on trails. I didn't think drawing it would be beneficial because number one, when I draw the monsters, it's with the excuse me, it's with the expectation of selling those drawings, which I sold a couple over the weekend, so that was pretty awesome. But there's nothing about Caltiki that would make it sellable or identifiable. So I chose not to draw, but then I was like, well, we still got to talk about it. It's like, okay, we'll talk about it, and maybe I'll draw some. I haven't decided if I'm going to draw anything for this stream. It's already 9:30, 9:40. Uh, we got into a conversation about sitcoms, so I don't know. Marriage, Children, and Alf, King of Queens are still funny. I don't think Alf made me laugh once. I enjoyed Alf, but I don't think I ever laughed watching Alf. But I have my NECA Alf figure, which is one of my favorite items because I'm an Alf, I like Alf. Yeah, I don't know. Not that I didn't find it funny. I just never really laughed. I like watching Alf 'cause I like watching Alf because it was pretty cool watching a Muppet on a sitcom. Married Children is still funny as hell. I still enjoy Fat Married Children. I never laughed at King of Queens, although I did find Everybody Knows Raymond. I did find that show pretty funny. Everybody Knows Raymond. That was good. That was a funny show. I get a kick out of that show. Not so much King of Queens, but what can I tell you? I don't know. KS, I will ban Tim for 24 hours, but only if you promise to make a stream dedicated to crying about me after. It amuses me. So yeah, so Tomothy, you heard your marching orders. Kansas is gonna ban you on the condition that you stream after this and bitch about him and call him all kinds of evil names. That's what he wants. So there you go. He has never watched Cheers. Well, I mean, I think it's a good show. It's pretty funny. It picks up after the second or third season is when it picks up, and that's when it's really funny. Yeah. Uh, Divas, I like sitcoms because people laughing in the audience let me know what I'm supposed to laugh at. A live audience can actually enhance the joke. It really does help. Asuka says I'm a Love Boat fan. Asuka, I was nice to you to that point, but you just really pushed it. You really freaking pushed it. No, I'm not a Love Boat fan, okay? What's wrong with you? I was clearly a Fantasy Island person. But anyway, okay, so I watched Cheers. It was good. Yeah, Cheers is pretty funny. I watched Alf, but I hated Alf's character as Oscar. How does that make sense? How do you watch a show and hate the character of the show? What are you, a hate watcher? What are you, Ethan at Skyrim? We just watch things to hate things? Are you serious, Oscar? You watched Alf because you hated Alf? What kind of mind thinks that way? Oh, I'm sorry. The mind that thinks of Oscar. That's right. The Oscars of the world think that way. So there you go. King of Queens. So now you're being a contrarian, Tommy. King of Queens is better. I don't know anybody who thought King of Queens was better than everybody else Raymond. I don't know. No, maybe you, but that explains a lot that you think that. The German dub of Alf is pretty funny. They made it intentionally black humor. Well, that's probably what it was needed. It probably needed more black humor. So I think it could have benefited. I think they made Alf a little too family friendly, but I know why because this equals merchandise, and who's gonna buy the merchandise? The kids, especially the talking plush Alf doll that I used to own. Can't give that to kids. If well, then again, they made RoboCop toys, and RoboCop was a hard R-rated movie, so they could have gotten away with it here. But you know, okay. I identify with the guy from Dream On. That's Brian Midman because I grew up in front of a TV, and every 5 minutes I think of a scene from an old movie or TV show. Also, Wreck Gar is my favorite Transformer. You're the first person, kids, that's in the history of humanity that came to me and said that Wreck Gar was their favorite Transformer. It wasn't the worst Transformer, but Wreck. Hmm, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Me, I'm more of a Grimlock fan. I like Grimlock, but who doesn't like Grimlock? Grimlock and obviously Optimus Prime is a given, but I say Grimlock and who else would I say is my favorite? I don't know. Anyway, um, the plane was the plane. So they got rid of that too. Yeah, I don't remember because I didn't watch that show religiously. But anyway, how many people got watching to this stream? We got 19 people watching. 19 people this kind of stream is actually pretty good. But they all got to hear me say that I was watching Murphy Brown and New Hearts and Designing Women. So 19 people have dirt on me now. I don't think you understand how horrifying that is for me to know that 19 people came here to hear me admit that I watched Designing Women, Newhart, and Murphy Brown in the fateful year of 1989, 1990. No, I don't. I take no joy in admitting that. It came out during the conversation, and here we are. So eggs on me, okay? Eggs on me. What can I tell you? This is the age of the Gar. Why? Because KSS has like Red Gar. Well, I don't know what to tell you people, but actually, since I mentioned Grimlock, so here's my Grimlock. This is a cool Grimlock from the Transformers Studio series. Oh no, it's a Studio series. No, I think this is the Age of the Prime Grimlock. But this is done in the style of the G2 Grimlock. But why am I showing this? Because Hasbro came out with a reissue of this mold of Grimlock, except it's actually meant to be Megatron painted black, and it's supposed to be a Megatron slash Godzilla hybrid. So they came out with a black Grimlock and released it as Godzilla, and instead of the robot Grimlock, it's actually Megatron, but it's Grimlock's body with Megatron's head. So it's pretty. It's kind of like a old school Masters of the Universe where they would just mix and match body parts and sell it as a new character, like they did with Faker when Faker was a blue He-Man with Skeletor's orange armor. Well, they took a Grimlock and painted him black and say, "Here's Godzilla." Here's Godzilla, even though he doesn't have any of the dorsal fins, but here's Godzilla because he's black, and he's a black dinosaur with bipeds, and it transforms to Megatron. I don't know why they didn't add the dorsal fins. It's actually pretty lazy, but somehow they convinced a lot of people that hey, it's a robot Godzilla transforming Godzilla figure, yay! So yeah, so yeah, Grimlock is the leader of the retardopons. The Dinobots were. Oh, Jabba's in the chat. Jabba, stop. Jabba, stop LOLing. Contribute to the conversation, Jabba. Damn it. Contribute to the conversation. No LOLing. Gods, I need you to put the ban hammer on Jabba. He's breaking terms of service. I'm going to be reporting this term of service violation. I'm telling you right now, you guys are in trouble. All of you. Lab at Watch Designing Women. It's living and Give Me a Break. Give Me a Break was actually entertaining. I like Give Me a Break with Mel Carter and Joey Lawrence. I was entertained by it. Jetfire Ruse says Oscar. Yeah, Jetfire was cool. For let me show you guys my Jetfire figure. No, yes, actually, it's my Jetfire figure. This is one of the classics line, 2007. This is a Jetfire taking elements of the G1 character, mixing it up with the elements of the Macross figure that was imported here in the States in the 80s that they passed off as Jetfire, which they couldn't show in the cartoon due to rights issues. But this classic line really does meld both together. So you got the Macross head, right? But if you take this off, if you take this off, if you take this off, it becomes the Jetfire head. See it? See it? Yeah, it's a Jetfire head, so it's pretty cool. And then you could actually transform this into the bipedal um, robot that it becomes the Macross cartoon. You know that bipedal shooting thing. It turns into that also. You got to transform it into that, so it's pretty cool. Um, and I think they released a couple other variations of Jetfires since then, but this is still one of my favorites. And it's actually pretty hard plastic, not the cheapo plastic they made years later. The two cassettes were one of the first toys I stole as a kid. Says Punch Comics. Well, good job. I'm glad you admitted to the felony. And hopefully there's no statute of limitations because some kids are deprived of the cassette robots because you stole them, Punch Comics, instead of buying them. You're a jerk. Someone got Soundwave incomplete because of you, Punch Comics. Because of you. Also, because Soundwave doesn't the transfer. Speaking of Soundwave, here's my Soundwave figure right here. See? I got my D1 Soundwave and my Studio Series blaster right here. Pretty cool, right? It took me 47 years, but I finally got Blaster and Soundwave together in the same house with me. So there we go. So I got the two cassette robot radios, and my shit is falling apart now because I'm moving things out of their place. But yeah, I don't collect a lot of Transformers, but the ones I do have, I like and they're cool. And I like Rolex for reasons. So yeah, I do got to upgrade to a better Starscream. Because the Starscream that I have, although I have the G1 Starscream, but I also have the classic Starscream from 2007, and I think I want to get a better Starscream. At least one that's more proportioned to the size of the other Transformers, but that's a whole conversation for another day. So Megatron was tough, and Starscream was a backstabbing coward to Oscar. Yeah, people like that dynamic. That dynamic was missing once they hit the season 3. Soundwave is cool, as Ken says, until you realize he transforms into the dumbest fucking thing. He's antiquated. A transformer who becomes a record player would be cooler. Well, okay, so if you know the history of the Transformers, you know they started off as a toy line called Microman. Actually, it was two toy lines. It was Microman and Diaclone. And Microman was the Transformer that became the small object. So that was where Soundwave and Megatron came from. And then Diaclone's where the cars and the planes came from. That's where Optimus Prime came from, and Starscream. That's also where the Dinobots came from too, the Diaclone line, as well as Ultra Magnus. So when Hasbro employed the toy line and they said we're going to bring them into one toy line, the Diaclone and the Microman, and call them Transformers, and that's what they had to come up with some bullshit reason of how a 30-foot tall robot becomes a 2-foot tall boombox. But yeah, how's it get supposed to grow up like it was a boombox? Well, I mean, so again, the idea was these toys were transforming into everyday household objects, and you had them in your hand and you just did things with them. The coolest one was the Bolter P-38, but the concept was dumb that you had the leader of the Decepticons become a tiny little gun. Again, they didn't really think of. They were just trying to sell toys. The idea of Transformers was to sell toys, but these are the conversations people have. Wait, who's chicken? KSS. Who's chicken? What song did Jabba write? What song did he write? He wrote nothing. I didn't see no song in the chat. Oscar. So what are you talking about? Launch comment, screw you, D word. It was a 2 cassette only set. So it wasn't with the G1 Soundwave. Stop showing off. I've been after a G1 since I was a kid, but I keep wasting my money on other shit I don't need. Budget. You could just screenshot it. Oh boy. I had process cases. I have not is it a classics prowl? Although I gotta get a better looking prowl. Actually, I think I have them somewhere else, but I do have a prowl figure, but I think I need a better looking prowl figure. So I'm on the hunt for a good prowl figure. I did like the G1 original G1 prowl, but it was limited and it's small compared to the other Transformers. So I really am in the hunt for a very good prowl figure. So Punch Comics, I have a few Transformer figures in my toy collection, like a lot. That's pretty cool. I don't have a lot of Transformers, but I don't want to get a lot of stuff because I don't want to be that materialistic. I'm not saying that you are, but I don't want to be that way. I prefer to just keep a small collection and just enjoy what I got. So I would make a Transformer that transforms into a roll of toilet paper, as Kaz says. No joke. So Hasbro at least a lot of Transformers currently, where they transform into balls. Like there's a Transformer that transforms into a soccer ball, and one that transforms into some kind of ball. And I'm like, Transformers that transform into balls? Why? But it's the thing, it's there now. So Hasbro has them. I think my local comic shop has it. I'm like, why? This is about as it's almost as bad as the Transformer that transformed into the skyscraper from the movie How Max is Big, with the scene where he's watching an executive trying to sell this concept to a team of to a board committee how a robot transforming into a skyscraper is a good thing. I'm like, okay, it becomes a skyscraper. Now what? It just stays there. Now, before you say, well, actually, Metroplex transformed into our city. That city had guns and everything, and the other Transformers can interact with it. That's not the same. So you pull that shit with Metroplex, I'm banning you in the chat. Metroplex turning into a city had a logistical and fun purpose. Guns, interaction with the Transformers, it made sense. Skyscraper does not. I had all the He-Man and Star Wars toys as Asuka. Back in the 90s, I was getting all the He-Man figures from eBay, and my collection was growing. And I'm like, damn, this is awesome. And then the 2000s hit, and then they were coming out with new figures, and then the market kind of went down for the Masters Universe figures, and I was like, yeah, I gotta get rid of some of these because I had too much stuff. Bumblebee was a disappointing toy. Some people would argue that Brawl was disappointing. No, not Brawl. Brawn and Ironhide. Ironhide and Ratchet were the real disappointing ones in the Transformers line. There are only two main toys from my childhood that I want in Sponge Comics. Soundwave with the tapes and Tomy Viewer 3D game. That's all. Man, member berries. Member berries. So I had all the Star Wars, most Motu, most G1s up to 88, most Mask. I even had Spiral Zone toys. I had one Mask figure, and I had one Visionaries figure from the 80s. I don't think I ever had a single Silverhawks figure. I had a few Thundercats, of course. I had a few Masters Universe. Um, I think about okay. So Masters Universe, Thundercats, and Transformers were the three main toy lines that I had as a kid. And then as I got older, I collected more Transformers and Masters Universe. I had a few Thundercat figures, not a lot, but I have a few of them. But that's my thing right there. Yeah, I still have Metroplex. I have the reissue Metroplex, not the G1 Metroplex, but I had like I think it was part of it was either the Agents of Prime's Metroplex or a different toy line, but hey, the sucker's like 2 foot tall. So bigger than my Unicron figure. Imagine Metroplex being bigger than Unicron. I'm like, Unicron's always gonna be a dilemma because he's supposed to be the biggest Transformer in all the Transformer lore, but you can't make it accurate size wise because if you want to make an accurate Unicron figure, he'd have to be the size of a house. That's how big he'd have to be. And of course, no house is big enough to have an actual size accurate Unicron toy. Yeah, it says I had a lot of Transformers and even a few GoBots. I used to have a couple GoBots too. I owned Leader One, and I got to own Sidekill. And honestly, like if you owned the GoBots figures and you don't have them now, good luck finding them because those figures will never be made again. There was actually a good video on YouTube about the rights issues when Hasbro bought the GoBots name. They couldn't get the license to the characters on the cartoon show. There's the whole reason why I don't want to get into it. I have to rewatch it, but basically, they can never make the Leader One Kill GoBots ever again. Those characters, Scooter, all of them, they can never reissue them again. The rights to those are like stuck somewhere. So Hasbro only has the rights to the GoBots name. Um, I think who was it that had the rights in Japan? Like Bandai, I think it was Bandai. I think it was Bandai that had no. Yeah. Bandai had the rights to the GoBots. So I think Bandai could make those figures, but they couldn't release them under the American names. But they're not going to because there's no market for it. So if you ever come across a Leader One or a Kill and it's at a decent money and you want them, grab them. That's the only way you're gonna end up with those figures. Maybe there's some third party out there. I don't know if there is, but I'm sure there's a third party that does Leader One and Psycho. But they'd be cool to have in a collection for sure. For sure. Ugh. Okay. 9:57 p.m. We've been streaming for an hour and a half, and I feel drained. My mom gave away all my toys as Oscar, comics and magazine collections. I even I don't know. Yeah, my mom actually threw away some of my shit when I was older, and I had some of my Godzilla figures in a suitcase at her place while during the dissolution of my first marriage, and she threw some of it away. And I'm like, damn it, why did she do that shit? I was very pissed off at her, but what are you gonna do? But I regained some of those figures, not all of them, but I regained some of those figures. But I'd rather maintain a good small collection of my stuff than have it grow, expand, and not know what the hell to do with them. Like I like to work with less, not more. That's just me though. The Scooter Go-Out figure was bigger than Blaster and Leader One, says KSS. Yeah, the size ratios be damned on those figures. So yeah. Oscar is leaving us as later. So I guess he's done spear chucking me. So one less spear chucker in the chat. I'm all for that. One less. Anyway, I think we're down to 12 years. I think it's time to call it a stream. I'm tired. I'm done, and I gotta eat something. So bottom line, Caltiki recommend it. It's a fun movie. Go watch it. You can't go wrong with it. Um, I got a bunch of movies I have to catch up on. Speed Racer is one of the movies I have to watch. I also want to catch up on not necessarily horror films, but they're kind of fantastical in their own way. There's Armageddon, aka Gundam Wars, which is an anime from 1983. I gotta watch that. There's also The Magic Crystal from 1986 with Cynthia Rothrock. I saw a fight scene between her and Richard Norton. That's pretty cool. I might have to go watch it. And I haven't read the plot per se, but someone said it was a mixture of Indiana Jones and E.T. combined with martial arts. I'm like, okay, I'll have to give it a watch. And then one of my favorite martial arts films, Clan of the White Lotus with Gordon Liu. For those of you millennials out there, Gordon Liu is the guy who was the leader of the Crazy 88s from Kill Bill. But for those of us like me who grew up on this stuff, he was a great martial artist and did a lot of legendary Shaw Brothers films, including this one. So gotta catch up on that on Speed Racer. So that's gonna be my night for the next few days. There won't be no any comic outliers this Thursday because I'll be on the road to Charlotte for Heroes Con this weekend. I'll be at Heroes Con, not as a vendor, but as a guest. But I got VIP passes, so I'll be headed there early and chilling. Yes, so I'll be there for the I'll be there for the weekend. I may stream Friday or Saturday, depending. We'll see. But if you're gonna be to Charlotte area for Heroes Con, I'll be there. I'll be there. But shout out to those in the chat who've been hanging out and who have been minimizing the chucking of your spears. Uh, anyway, I'm going to call it a stream. You guys have a great night. And yeah, I'm actually hunger and I might watch a movie. So y'all take care and I will see you guys at some point during the weekend for an impromptu stream. So take care and have a good night.